So we're going to talk a little bit about adaptability as the theme of the day here, and this is a theme that really is comfortable and responsive in changing situations and environments. I think one of the things that distinguishes people is how they relate to variance and variety, and the adaptable person is someone who's more on the side of, I kind of like variance. I kind of like variety. It's interesting, this theme falls in the relationship building domain. And I think it also could fit conceptually in the executing domain. It's how people go about their work. But I think why it's in relationship domain is I think people who have adaptability are usually a little calmer than the rest of us in changing environments. And I think that has a positive effect on, I think we're attracted to people because of their calmness. So people probably, one of the reasons people probably like Scott is he has a calming influence when there are times of stress. We'll let him comment on that later if that's true or not, I don't know. We often talk about some words that kind of get at the essence of a theme, nouns and adjectives. One of the themes that I came up with, or nouns, is first responder. These are people who are responsive and people who kind of jump into situations that need some help. They're first responders. Another phrase might be an early adopter. Again, people who kind of embrace change maybe quickly because they like change. People who are willing to, this doesn't sound quite as sexy sometimes, but these are people who know how to follow. They know how to follow the situation. They know how to kind of go along with the environment sometimes, and that can be important. I think it's people who are situationally aware, and maybe I would say people who really sometimes love change. And I often say they say change is around forever. So I think this theme has some real advantages sometimes in a world that is constantly changing, and there are lots of environments in our world where change is really the primary currency. Adjectives that we might put with adaptability would be like flexible, responsive, easygoing, present, in the moment, spontaneous, agreeable, and my favorite, existential. That's kind of a big word, but I like that word. They really, and we can talk more about that if existential works for you or not, Scott. What this theme looks like in its raw form might be my attention span is short. That's, I think, what raw, and it will be interesting to hear if Scott had a short attention span when he was 10 years old. What it looks like in a more mature form is this. My intense real-time awareness helps me to respond with immediacy. That sounds more mature and more productive, and I think that's ultimately what it can bring. I think it's interesting to think about the relationships between this theme and some other themes, and some themes where I see connections is, for example, I think a theme like arranger could actually intensify the adaptability of a person. A partner, when you put arranger with adaptability, it effectively, this partner effectively manages organizations and team chains through interaction, involvement, and influence. So I think when you add arranger to adaptability, it brings some control to the responsiveness. It brings a bit of control to that. Also, you could add empathy to adaptability. An empathetic partner brings an awareness of the emotional implications and the repercussions of change. Even though a person with adaptability enjoys change, they know that not everybody likes change, and so they might be. And it's interesting. I think Scott has empathy pretty high, so that might be a fun one to talk about how his sensitivity to people's emotions helps him in times of change. There are also some themes that could moderate adaptability. I don't think he has this particular theme, but for example, discipline. So when you add discipline to adaptability, whether it's inside of a person or a partnership, a person or partner with this theme brings order and predictability to the chaos that is always associated with change. So that would bring a bit more. It would moderate adaptability if a person had both discipline and adaptability. This is another good word, I think, that goes with adaptability. Have you heard the phrase carpe diem? It's kind of this Latin word, seize the day. I think it was Robin Williams who kind of made it famous in a movie he had. I can't remember the name of the movie, but it's really Latin for seize the day, and what it really means more literally is to pluck or pick the day, because it's like ripe fruit. It's like, fruit is only ripe at its best for a short time. I just think that's a great kind of way to think about adaptability. Let's see. Maybe let me get into some of the numbers. Sometimes people are kind of interested in that as well. Frequency in top 5, 17% of our database have adaptability in its top 5 in terms of the rank order, and it's in 8th place. It's the 8th most frequent theme. So there's, a pretty good amount of adaptability in our database. The theme that is most likely paired with adaptability is empathy. So that makes some sense. These people who are aware of what's going on around them are often aware of how people are feeling. People who have situational awareness often have emotional awareness. So those could be things. The theme that is least likely paired with adaptability is focus. And that makes some sense too. Kind of focus is kind of more of a goal orientation, more of a single-mindedness, whereas I think of adaptability as almost having like a 360 view around them. They can kind of, it's all kind of encapsulated in today, but it's a 360, the circle is today, and I can see all around today. I'm really present in that particular moment.